how have I been keeping fit whilst living in Medellín, Colombia? So I've been here for just under 2 weeks now, and at the very top of my priority list, apart from sourcing and finding good quality food for me, has been to keep myself in tip-top shape. It's quite literally a non-negotiable for me, and I can't imagine a scenario where I'd really let that slip. So given that, and given how important it is for me to stay in tip-top shape, here are 5 things that I've paid special attention to. Given that I've just moved from London, I'm still kind of finding my way around the city, but I still want to keep in shape. And this is to firstly, keep the kind of level of condition I have, basically not put on too much body fat. And secondly, trying to maintain my muscle mass that I've already got. And if anything, try to build on that a little bit where I can. Because these are the only 2 variables that we actually have control over, by the way. And I've been doing all of these things whilst also trying to settle into the city, run my online fitness business, keep my dog fit and healthy, and generally enjoy my time here. The first one, and unsurprisingly, I've basically been trying to train every day of the week. More or less, I haven't really been skipping any training sessions, even though it's been really tempting to. I've had other things to do, I've had things to sort, but I've been prioritizing this. So I've been doing 5 sessions a week in the gym, then maybe an additional 1 or 2 hikes or runs on the weekend. Mainly for the social aspect, because here it's a great way to meet and connect with like-minded people. But then the secondary element is kind of like a calorie burning fitness thing. I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to A, socialize, and at the same time burn a few extra calories. And the weekend runs and hikes have actually given me a really interesting and useful benchmark from which I can gauge my progress over time. For example, I do a 5k run every week, and if it gets slightly easier week on week, then I know I'm making progress. It's really simple. Then for the hikes, if you hike up to the top of the mountain and you get a great view from the city at the top, it makes it worth it, and it's a fun thing to do, especially that I can take B along with me. The second point, I've tried not to take Ubers everywhere. It's so tempting to do that because they're so cheap here in comparison to in London. But the thing is, if you're just taking Ubers everywhere, you're not going to explore the city, you're not going to do the steps. At the end of the day, these little wins add up for your energy expenditure. So where I can, I've either taken the metro. Yep, there's a metro in Medellín. Currently the only city in Colombia which has a metro. I've either taken the bus as well, or I've basically just walked. Now the 2 forms of public transport will involve walking to and from the station at each end, so you still get your step count in even when taking public transport. It's not as good as walking, but sometimes you can't afford to take the time to walk an hour somewhere. The only time where I've had to take Ubers is when I've had the dog with me and she's either not allowed on the public transport, or I don't want to put her through 30 minutes of walking in the midday Colombian sun because she'd overheat. Third point, I haven't gone crazy with eating out. A little bit like the Uber example, eating out here is vastly cheaper than in London, UK, and the food in Colombia and the restaurants in Medellín specifically are really good. And that being said, I've avoided the temptation to eat out 2 or 3 times a day, which you easily could out here. Why? Because even if you're making the correct choices while you're eating out, you're going for the chicken, you're eating the salads, you're not having junk food, you still relinquish control over the calories in that meal if you eat it out at a restaurant. You don't know how much cooking oil they use. You don't know how much of that oil is on your plate. You don't know what is in the salad dressing. You don't know necessarily which specific cuts of meat they're making your food with. So even though you could have an idea, you could be a few hundred calories off. And if you're eating out twice a day, that could be 400 to 600 calories per day extra, which is enough to erode a deficit. Or if you're at maintenance anyway, tip you into a decent sized surplus. And given that my goal is basically to keep the calories under control, I don't really want to do this. So apart from on occasion, I've been prepping and eating my food at home. And this has really helped me keep a lid on the overall calories. Number 4, 0 snacking. I've just been sticking to my 3 meals a day with no eating in between. Look, Colombia has some of the best fruit in the world. If you're at home and you buy some fruit, of course there are other countries that produce it, but by and large, a lot of it will come from Colombia. Bananas, avocados, mangoes, things like that. And given that, wherever you go here in Medellín, whether it's out on the street, in the restaurants, in the mall, you're going to be surrounded by this fruit to snack on, and other types as well. It's constantly in your face and you keep having to say no. And if you're not careful, you could be having a couple of snacks every time you leave the house. Now, am I saying snacking is bad? No. Am I saying fruit is bad? No. Does fruit have a lot of calories and you need to be really careful with it? Not really. It's 0 protein, 0 fat, and it's only carbs. So the overall calories of fruit, isn't that high. But you know what? Just having this rule of zero snacking under any circumstances makes it really straightforward to just stick to your meals. And then you make your meals better, you make them more wholesome, you have more vegetables, you make them more balanced, and then overall in the day, you probably keep a lid on the calories more than you would do otherwise. And if I really want to try some of the amazing fruit they have off on here, I just have it as a dessert after my lunch or dinner. Really simple. The last point, I've been waking up early. Now, in all fairness, the jet lag initially really helped with this. I'm 6 hours behind London here in Medellín, Colombia, and so for that first week, I was waking up at 5 AM with no problems whatsoever, ready to attack the day. And I don't know, when you wake up early and you get a head start on the day, not only are you more productive, but because you're more productive, you're probably going to burn more energy over the course of the day. You're also probably going to make better food choices because you don't feel like a lazy slob. You're probably going to get your training session in the morning because you feel like it. It's just better. There are of course exceptions to the rule, and some people watching this will be evening people and they'll just do better having a lay-in. But for me, and I think most people, waking up early is a good way to stay in shape. I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.